Well, hello, this is Dwight from Scifres Gunsmithing Services over by Dana, Indiana. And I want to talk to you about the new Illinois deer regulations and a couple of the guns, especially the two calibers that seem to be getting the most interest. And that is the 350 Legend and the 450 Bushmaster. Showing you here a really nice Ruger Ranch rifle and 450 Bushmaster. Again, this is not a left-handed bolt action gun. It's just my camera inversion making it look like it is. The gun is a right-handed gun. I'm a right-handed guy. So anyways, pretty nice gun with the 16-inch barrel. And they also, Ruger made a lot less of these I've seen on the market. This also is a 450 Bushmaster. And it's got a longer barrel on it. It has a different style of muzzle brake. But it's the same basic action. Both of them very nice rifles. Anyways, I thought you'd want to see them. So, let's talk about the new Illinois deer regulation. I'm looking at the Illinois DNR website here. So, this takes effect next year. And they're saying that there are legal calibers for single-shot rifles. They define what a legal caliber is, and they define what a legal rifle is. The legal calibers, I'll just read it to you verbatim. A bottleneck centerfire cartridge of 30 cal or larger with a case length not exceeding 1 2/5 of an inch, or a straight wall centerfire cartridge of 30 cal or larger. Both must be available as a factory load with the public ballistic tables of the manufacturer showing a capability of at least 500 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. And it says full metal jacket bullets may not be used to harvest deer. Okay, now they also have a list on their website that they said was compiled by some expert, but isn't necessarily something that they ordain, I guess is correct. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, some of these calibers are so old and obsolete that most of you probably haven't even heard of them. I don't think there's anything on here I've not seen before, but I've been around a long time. But here's some of the calibers that are probably, how can I say, interesting that somebody could use. 300 Blackout, 300 Whisper, the 357 SIG, maybe somebody with a 4440 Winchester. Those are bottleneck cartridges that I think are actually available out there that people could talk about. And now in a straight wall, they're saying a 10 millimeter Smith & Wesson, a 30 carbine, a 327 Federal mag. I'm not a real big fan of any of those for deer, other than the 10 mil. The 10 mil with the right ammunition is a lot more, is a lot better than what most people think. It lists a 357 Remington Maximum. The 350 Legend is listed. A 40 Smith & Wesson, not so much. I'm not a big fan of that for deer. A 41 mag, a 44 mag, absolutely good choice. A 444 Marlin, if you could find ammo for that, dude, it's a great cartridge. The 450 Bushmaster, a 4570 Government, and then there's some others that are pretty specialized. But anyways, you can look at that yourself. So it defines what are legal calibers by dimensions, and then it gives you a list of some that are that fit that. And on that list, look at the DNR website. Now keep in mind, this doesn't take effect until January 1st of 2023. Now it says single shot. What rifles are legal? Single shot means a gun that is either manufactured or modified to only be capable of holding a total of 1 round in the magazine and chamber combined. It says does not include a rifle in the possession of a person who is also in possession of or in close proximity to a magazine that would allow the rifle to be capable of holding more than 1 round, or a revolver. You figure that one out, that language. A rifle shall be considered a single shot if there is no magazine in possession of or in close proximity to a hunter in the field, and the gun can only hold a total of 1 round. And then it answers a question: can I use a lever action / bolt action / pump action / semi-automatic rifle for hunting deer in Illinois? It says a gun shall be considered a single shot if there is no magazine in the possession of or in close proximity to a hunter in the field, and the gun can only hold a total of 1 round. What's close proximity? What's that definition of that? I don't know. Is it 20 yards? Is it 200 feet? Is it back in your truck? Or is it in your bag? I don't know. It says modification of a rifle originally manufactured as a repeater, which would be a lever action, a bolt action, pump action, or semi-action, to a single shot can take many forms, including but not limited to not having the magazine in possession or close proximity, removing an internal magazine, springs, and followers. You could probably do that to a lever action. Using a plug to block the magazine tube. So anything with a tube, a lever action, a pump, that could be done. Purchasing a 0-round magazine. Okay. Well, you can take on some guns, you could take a factory magazine and make it into a 0-round magazine. Then that's covered, and it says, or modifying the receiver or internal magazine of the rifle. So, take a good look at this yourself, and make sure that when you get ready to buy something that is going to meet the requirements of the law. Now, I'll just show you something here on one of these Ruger Americans. It's as simple as removing this magazine and not having it in close proximity, and that will meet the definition of a single shot. However, it's not going to be that easy to load like that. All right, I would really recommend that if you're going to go with something like a Ruger American or a Savage Axis, that you go ahead and spend the money, buy another magazine, and have it modified to basically just become a loading block. In other words, you're modifying this magazine so that it becomes a 0-round magazine. Okay, we can do that here for you at Scifres Gunsmithing. Taking a look at this magazine, it looks like it'd be pretty easy to do. But it comes down then to what calibers. And so this is what's interesting. My good friend Randy Wakeman, and I would highly recommend y'all check out his YouTube channel, Randy Wakeman Outdoors. Check out his website, Randy Wakeman Outdoors. And also you could check out the website that he is the owner of, called chuckhawks.com, for some really great gun information. Randy's old school, been in the gun business in the industry longer than me, and that's a long time. He's very well respected. So him and I are good friends, and we were having a discussion on the phone the other day about which cartridge between the 350 Legend, this is a 350 Legend, and the 450 Bushmaster. And usually him and I are pretty close in agreement, but on this thing here, not as much. We both have valid points. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's compare these two cartridges, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are saying, well, which should I buy? A 350 Legend or 450 Bushmaster? Because these are probably going to be the two most, I would guess, the two most popular cartridges when people come looking to make a choice on this single shot ridiculousness. I mean, did I say that out loud? Illinois regulations. This is tea, by the way. I know somebody one time said I'd make a video, I took a drink of something. They said, oh, that guy's drinking whiskey. No, I always talk like this. Anyways, so we've got these two cartridges, and I pulled up the ballistics on both and took a real good look at them. And I tried to compare apples to apples. So the 350 Legend, people, when they first hit the market, Winchester come out and said, oh, it was as good or better than a 33. It's really not. Not if you compare it equal. Okay? So we're doing this the best we can. It's pretty close to a 33, but it's just not quite there. Now, comparing the accuracy, I have set up rifles, both in 350 Legend and 450 Bushmaster. And I can say I've been impressed with the accuracy of both. Um, both of them are, I've set up guns that would shoot MOA. And that's, anything that'll shoot MOA in a hunting rifle, especially entry level hunting rifle, what you got nothing to complain about. So accuracy, I would compare about even. Which one's easier to shoot well, though? By far, the 350 Legend's easier to shoot well because recoil is considerably less with the 350 Legend. The 350 Legend's pretty mild to shoot, whereas the 450 Bushmaster has got a pretty good thump to it. So as far as being easy, which one gets the nod there? Easier to shoot, 350 Legend. Most accurate, I call that a draw. How about your trajectory? That's pretty much a draw, believe it or not. With a 350 Legend, 165 grain FTX load from Hornady with 100 yard zero, 200 yards, you're 8.3 inches low. With the 450 Bushmaster, 250 grain FTX, again by Hornady, 100 yard zero, you're 9 inches low. So there's a difference of 7/10 of an inch. By the time you get to 250 yards, the 350 Legend is 1 inch about flatter than the, 1.5 inches flatter shooting than the Bushmaster. Nothing a deer can live on. I would call both of these guns, as far as hitting the target, 300 yards is pushing it for either one, because by the time, with 100 yard zero, by the time you get to 300 yards, you're looking at 30 inches of drop on the 350 Legend, 33 inches of drop on the 450 Bushmaster. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, because Burris makes a great scope with a bullet drop compensating reticle that I highly recommend. That is a great match for either of these guns in that caliber, because the ballistic drop compensation on that matches up very well with either of these calibers. Now, granted, you can set it up for any gun, any caliber, but the way that the lines mark out, it pretty well just comes out 100, 152, 250, 300, and give or take a couple yards. But so as far as trajectory, it's pretty well a tie. But here's where it's not a tie, and that's energy. The muzzle energy of the 350 Legend 165 grain FTX is 1,773 foot-pounds of energy. The Hornady 450 Bushmaster is 2,687 foot-pounds of energy. That's 914 foot-pounds of energy difference. As Paul Harrell likes to say on his YouTube channel, that's a lot. That's significant. 914 foot-pounds of energy. Well, see, they're saying that you have to have a gun that the Illinois regs that you must have a minimum of 500 foot-pounds of energy. So, and that's not much. As a matter of fact, most professionals recommend 1,000 foot-pounds of energy to be the limit on how far you shoot something with a particular gun. The 350 Legend fails to make that mark even at 200. At 200 yards, the energy has dropped off to 952 foot-pounds of energy, whereas the 450 Bushmaster is still packing 1,051 foot-pounds of energy at 250 yards. So I have to give the edge energy-wise to the 450 Bushmaster. And if you're going to be shooting at a longer distances beyond 200 yards, definitely give the nod to the 450 Bushmaster. Now, I did mention the recoil is significantly higher on that 450 Bushmaster. Absolutely it is. However, if you're used to being an Illinois hunter using muzzle loaders or slug guns, I don't think it's going to bother you, not a bit. Now, if you're a youth or a smaller person or a person that's recoil sensitive, hands down, you need to buy that 350 Legend, okay? If recoil bothers you, buy the 350 Legend, because shots on target are firepower, not shots fired, okay? Not big noises. And you're better off with a smaller bullet on target than a poorly placed big bullet. But if you can handle that recoil, then by far I would go with the 450 Bushmaster for two reasons. One is that at the longer distances, you have what I consider sufficient energy to get the job done. At 200 yards, again, you're pushing 1,274 foot-pounds of energy. At 250 yards, you're pushing 1,051. But with the 350 Legend, at 200 yards, you're only pushing 952. Now, is that going to get the job done? Sure, it will if the shot placement is proper. But here's the thing. It's single shot rule, okay? It's a single shot rule. And I've hunted the Midwest all my life, and I imagine most people watching this have too. There are some big deer walking around out here in Indiana and Illinois. And some of these deer, I've seen two in my life on a scale that they were field dressed out that still pushed the scales over 300 pounds. I've seen that twice in my life. So that animal was well over 400 pounds when it was walking. Listen, there's a big deal. There's a lot of difference trying to drop a 400-pound buck that's rutted up versus trying to drop a yearling that weighs 110 pounds soaking wet. There's a lot of difference in those two animals and how much energy they will take and still stay on their feet. And if you're a trophy hunter or you're a big deer hunter or you just want to be ready in case that big buck once in a lifetime deer comes by, and you can handle that recoil, by far shoot the 450 Bushmaster. And, you know, the Illinois DNR in their great wisdom decided to limit you to one shot. So you don't got a quick second follow-up shot if needed. So you want to hit that big boy with everything that you can bring to the table. So for me, I would definitely go with the 450 Bushmaster, and I would recommend that to all my customers that feel like that they can handle that recoil. And if you can handle the recoil of a 20 gauge or 12 gauge slug gun or a 50 cal muzzleloader, you'll have no trouble with that 450 Bushmaster. However, again, I will say this: if you are able to, how can I put it? If you're somebody that is recoil sensitive, then go with the 350 Legend. Limit your shots. I would try to stay inside 200. And regardless of how much energy you have, doesn't make up for poor shot placement. You want to have good shot placement. But that's my take on the Illinois deer regs and the difference between the 350 Legend and the 450 Bushmaster. Just bigger. Bigger is better. All right. Well, sometimes. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this. If I can help you, I do have some of the 450 Bushmaster rifles in stock. I wish I had some 350 Legends. I've had some. They got sold out real fast. And seems like most guns, except for some of the higher-end guns and the semi-autos, are sold out across the country. It's really tough to get them. So there's a lot of competition out there right now for product. A matter of fact, it's like today I had a customer came in. He wanted a particular Ruger rifle. They were not showing available, so I put them on back order at two different places. All of a sudden, some showed up about an hour later at the distributor. There was 5 in stock. I got one, ordered it, went ahead and did the order. 15 minutes later, out of 5, there was only 2 left in stock. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. So if you plan on making the change, I would, again, recommend not wait until next year or whatever. I would get available gun when you could. All right, well, this video went longer than I wanted to, but thanks for watching. If I can help you, get a hold of me. Scifres Gunsmithing Services over by Dana, Indiana. Our phone number is 812-251-6465. Thank you for watching. God bless you.